Hi, and welcome to Now Go See It. We are on board the fantastic Norwegian Prima. Come with us as we explore the ship. We'll take you into some of the ship's spaces, lounges, restaurant, bars. We'll review some of the menus, check out the entertainment. We'll give you some hot tips and tricks that you might want to know before you sail on the Prima.
Welcome back to Now Go See It. Today we're diving into a full walkthrough and honest review of the Norwegian Prima, the first in the Norwegian Cruise Line's Prima class. If you're planning a cruise or just like knowing everything about your ship before you set sail, stick around. We're going deck by deck and restaurant by restaurant to give you a full review. Norwegian Prima launched in 2022 with a lot of hype around new features, extra space, and a luxury feel. After spending 11 days on board while embarking on a Northern European cruise to Norway and Iceland, we describe the overall experience as fine. Some things were great, a few things felt a little oversold, and we definitely found spots that were worth a second visit. So let's get into it.
Hello? Anybody home? Oh, hi. I'm home. Welcome to the Norwegian Prima. Interior cabins. This is our home away from home for the next 12 days. That's right. Here in an interior cabin on deck 11. It's giving upscale prison vibes. I like it though. This is my first time traveling on this class of ship, and these rooms, the interior rooms, are pretty nice. And there's some little redesign modifications compared to the other Norwegian classes, and this is really lovely. So, notice the TV has been actually replaced in the rooms to face the beds. What a novel concept. So it's not on a swivel anymore, and that's really nice. And you got your little setup area right down here. There's some drawers for your storage. Hello. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, you got your fridge down here. And this isn't bad. I mean, it's a little basic. I like this lady. She can't see anything. She's covered in honey or something. There's a lot of butterflies going on here. I don't know what the story is there, but that looks terrifying. So moving on. So we got a little sitting makeup area here. Then you got two little shelves. You got your room service menu up here, cups, trinket trays, etc. There's also 4 hooks. That's delightful. So this is my morning jacket, afternoon jacket, evening jacket, club jacket. This opens up into a nice, lovely closet. And there's your safe down here. And then you got some little pull-out drawers for baskets. That's pretty good if you have some dirty laundry. That's actually super handy. So then in here, there's also another lovely little nook, another little closet space. Here's your temperature control. This has been updated. So on the other ships I've been on, it's manual. And this is actually electronic. It has a do not disturb and the cooling temperatures, and pretty easy to adjust your temp here, as you can see. Tony always wants it super cold because he wants to freeze me out. Here's the bathroom. Now, this is actually probably, out of any interior cabin I've seen in on a cruise ship, this is probably the biggest bathroom I've seen on a cruise ship, which is actually pretty nifty. And there's actually some ample counter space, and there's some counter cubbies below this, as well as some additional space down below the sink, which is super great. And check this out, the shower, actually in here, it can hold a whole person. I mean, if you're getting really frisky, you can probably have more than one person in there, to be honest. But it's a decent size for a cruise ship bathroom. So overall, these rooms on the Prima, the interior ones they're quite nice. I'm gonna give this a solid, for an interior cabin, 5 out of 5. Good job, Norwegian Prima.
Let's start with the outdoor spaces. Norwegian really pushed the idea of the greater wide open, and Ocean Boulevard delivers on that, at least visually. It's a wraparound deck located on deck 8 with 2 infinity pools called Infinity Beach. These are located on the sides of the ship and are a quieter spot to cool off. They're beautiful to look at, but they're also small, maybe slightly larger than a hot tub. Don't expect to do much more than sit and soak with a view. Around the deck there are day beds, some hammocks, and the Ocean Walk glass bridge, which is cool for photos. On deck 17, the main pool area has a few infinity hot tubs and 1 main pool. But like most Norwegian ships, it's undersized for how many people want to use it. Lounge chairs near the pool fill up early, and the space can feel tight on sea days. And here's where one of our biggest criticisms comes in. Speedway sounds awesome in theory. It's the first 3-level racetrack at sea, and it stretches across decks 18 through deck 20. But in reality, it takes up so much space on the top decks that it severely limits where you can actually enjoy views or spread out. We were in places like Geiranger Fjord with mind-blowing scenery all around us, and we couldn't find a good open-air vantage point to take it all in. That felt like a huge design miss. Plus, during our European sailing, temperatures dropped quickly after leaving ports like Amsterdam and Zeebrugge. Sunbathing, swimming, or even just enjoying the outside air became pretty much out of the question. The ship had plenty of outdoor space to spread out and escape the crowds, but in cold weather, none of it was usable in any kind of comfortable way. So for several days, a huge percentage of the ship's appeal, those sleek outdoor spaces and unique spots, went largely unused. Back to activities. The ship's slides, the drop and the rush, are a fun novelty, especially the freefall trapdoor slide. But they're one-and-done attractions for most people. The Wave is a tidal water slide that sounds more thrilling than it actually is. And then there's the mini golf course Tea Time and the Bullseye Darts area. They look cool, but both cost extra, up to $10 per person per round. Charging for mini golf and darts feels like a nickel and dime move, especially since those games are free on many other ships. It's not the amount that's frustrating, it's the principle. The Galaxy Pavilion is another example. It has flashy VR simulators and an escape room. But when you break it down, you're paying a premium for 20 minutes of something that may or may not be fun. It adds up quickly and feels more like a cash grab than a value add. The aforementioned Speedway is also an upcharge, and again, it's a cool concept, but kind of a one and done or a no thank you for most people on board. The stadium is a nice touch: ping pong, foosball, beer pong, and other classic games in an open air space with no upcharge. That's the kind of thing we wish they leaned into more. That said, it's outdoors, and during our Iceland and Norway itinerary, it got cold quickly. Great in theory, but not a reliable space for extended use on chilly or windy sea days. Let's talk about the dining on Prima. First, the buffet, Surfside Cafe. It's actually better than average, and by the end of our cruise, we were choosing it over the main dining rooms. It had enough variety to stay interesting throughout the week. They also mixed it up with theme nights: Greek night, shrimp boil, and even a strange one called Country Western night. That one threw us off a bit since country western is a music genre, not a cuisine, but hey, we appreciate you going for a theme. The buffet layout is clean and easy to navigate, and there is rarely a wait, even at peak times. Breakfast at Surfside Cafe featured the usual: eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, waffles, pastries, fruit, and cereals. Lunch had all your favorites like hot dogs, burgers, pasta bars, sandwiches, and hot entrees like pork loin or baked fish. But also had some international fare: curry dishes, Americanized Chinese, and things like ramen or pho. Dinner usually felt more composed, with more of the same lunch options with additional proteins, soups, and desserts like apple crumble or panna cotta. Nearby, the Surfside Grill is a handy option for burgers and hot dogs if you're by the pool and need a quick bite. For a low-effort meal, it does the trick. Hudson's and the Commodore Room, the two main dining rooms, were underwhelming at best. The menus felt limited and strangely structured, like having Asian-inspired appetizers followed by European-style entrees. One night I got a country fried chicken dish that was served cold, and that was our last visit to the main dining rooms. After that, we stuck to the buffet and other quick service options where we could look at the food before we scooped it onto our plates. The local bar and grill is open 24/7 and offers pub-style fare. Breakfast here is quieter than the buffet and includes eggs your way, pancakes, sausage, and pastries. Lunch and dinner menus include comfort staples like Reuben sandwiches, nachos, wings, fish and chips, loaded fries. It's not gourmet dining, but it's warm, fast, and open late, though the variety on the menu and the quality of the food get lower the later it gets. Indulge Food Hall is one of Prima's headline venues. It's a modern food court with 11 stations and tablet ordering. In concept, it's fantastic, but each station has such a small menu that it becomes repetitive quickly. Seating is a whole separate issue. It's limited and extremely competitive during meal times. Also, while we liked the iPad ordering for convenience, it seemed like a barrier for older passengers who weren't as comfortable with the tech. It was also impossible to customize. There was no option for holding the pickles or getting the dressing on the side. That said, the Indian dishes at Indulge were a standout. We kept going back for those. Spices were spot on and the flavors were bold. If you're looking to actually have a good meal on board, the best strategy is honestly to bite the bullet and pay for specialty dining. It makes you wonder if that's the intention. Make the included options just good enough that you'll want to upgrade? And honestly, it worked. Specialty dining on Prima is strong. Cagney's is always a solid steakhouse.
Steak knife. Fork. Let's get into it.
Le Bistro is elegant and dramatic with its giant hand-blown chandelier. Hasuki brings a teppanyaki theatrics. Nama does solid sushi.
Oh yeah, I can get behind that.
Los Lobos impressed us with great Mexican flavors. Onda by Scarpetta serves upscale Italian and has a great wine list. Food Republic gives you that small plates vibe with a global twist. And Palomar delivers seafood-focused Mediterranean dishes in a beautiful setting. As for bars, there are plenty. Metropolitan Bar leans into the strange sustainability mixed drinks that Norwegian loves to promote. Penrose Bar is central in the 3-story atrium and great for people watching if you don't mind the chaotic ruckus of whatever else is happening in the atrium. Soleil and Luna give you outdoor drink spots, not great on our journey near the Arctic Circle. Belvedere and Whiskey Bar are more specialized if you want to flex your drink package. Sid Norman's is where everyone wants to be at night, but good luck getting a seat. People were lining up 90 minutes before showtime, and if you didn't claim a spot early, you were stuck peering in from the hallway like we were, night after night. The observation lounge is a quieter spot for relaxing or taking in the view, again when you can find a seat. It was usually packed as well. If you did get a seat, you spend equal time looking out at the sea as you do watching your fellow cruisers hustle to find a spot to sit. Let's talk about shopping on board. Norwegian Prima has a surprisingly robust shopping area. If you're into pseudo-luxury retail, you'll find options like Pandora jewelry and Effie jewelry. There's also the gateway for watches from international brands. The collection offers pre-owned designer handbags from brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, if you're in the market for someone's used purse. You can also grab everyday items, cruisewear, tech gadgets, and even duty-free liquor and cigars from aficionados. The shopping promenade feels on par to other cruise ships and offers both browsing and higher-end purchases. But like most things on Prima, the overall vibe is fake fancy, which means you want to come prepared to spend if you're serious about shopping on board. If you feel the urge to burn off a few of those buffet theme night calories, the Pulse Fitness Center actually has a lot going for it. The gym has 270-degree views of the ocean, which makes that treadmill time a little less painful. There's a wide array of cardio machines, free weights, resistance training equipment, and a stretching area. It's clean, modern, and surprisingly spacious, but like most cruise gyms, it does get busy in the mornings. There are a few instructor-led fitness classes, but space is limited and some have an extra charge, because of course they do. If your idea of wellness leans more towards soaking than sweating, the Mandarin Spa is Prima's showpiece of calm. It's genuinely beautiful with a 2-story waterfall, a salt therapy room, a charcoal sauna, and a heated tile lounger area that's perfect if you're trying to trick your body into forgetting you're on a ship with 4,000 people. Access isn't free, but for some it might be worth it just to find a seat that isn't being fought over in the observation lounge. Yes, like every cruise ship since the dawn of duty-free time, there's an art auction. It takes place in one of the restaurants and features paintings, prints, and an audience who will sit through anything for a free glass of champagne. Even if you're not in the market for art, it can be oddly entertaining. Just don't raise your hand at the wrong moment or you might accidentally buy a $4,000 print of an olive wearing sunglasses. The casino is what you'd expect. Rows of slot machines, table games, and that damn coin pusher that somehow steals my money every time. It's loud, flashy, and always busy at night, especially after dinner. If you're feeling lucky, it's a fun way to kill some time, but watch that budget. For nighttime entertainment, there are a couple of extra options we haven't mentioned yet. The ship hosts stand-up comedy acts in the Improv at Sea, which is a nice change of pace if you want something different from the usual cruise fare. There's also karaoke, whether you're brave enough to sing or just want to cheer on that lady singing Celine Dion after a third glass of Chardonnay, it's an entertaining way to spend the evening. Entertainment is a mixed bag. Bossa Nova Beat was a true highlight. Great dancing, fun music, high energy, but the rest felt lacking. The Price is Right and Deal or No Deal game shows are fun to watch at home, but when they're billed as big nightly entertainment, it's kind of a letdown. The production value for The Price is Right is high, but at the end of the day, it's still just a game show. Smaller musical acts played in the atrium and bars, and while they were talented, it was the same handful of performers doing similar sets night after night. It got repetitive fast. The atrium itself is a beautiful space, but it's a logistical nightmare for activities. Trivia, games, and events were hosted here throughout the day, but the seating is awkwardly placed. Most people are facing away from the action, behind a partition, or perched on a folding chair that pop up as a band-aid solution. It's not a space designed for big crowds, yet it becomes one by default due to the lack of fun alternative entertainment options. Overall, the ship's design is stunning. Everywhere you go looks sharp, sleek, and Instagram-worthy, but sometimes it feels like form took precedence over function. There's a lot to admire visually, but we often find ourselves wishing those visuals came with better usability, especially in busy areas. So, final thoughts. Norwegian Prima is bold, modern, and definitely different from other ships in the fleet. But it's not for everyone. If you'd like a quieter cruise with lots of space to relax and varied entertainment options, this ship may not hit all your marks. That said, it has plenty of unique ideas and is still evolving. Maybe future Prima-class ships will smooth out some of the growing pains. If you've cruised on Prima or you're planning to, drop your questions or opinions in the comments. Clicking that subscribe button is the best thank you we can get from you. It helps us grow the channel. Check out port guides from all the stops on this Norway and Iceland cruise on the channel, and find even more info at our website, nowgosee.com. Now go see Norwegian Prima.